Go on to Five Nights at Freddy's 2 next. November 2014. If you didn't make this game, I wouldn't be here now, basically. Honestly, it's the truth. So FNaF 2 is the game that really means a lot to me, and I'll be forever grateful for it. So, yeah, thank you. Just wanted to quickly plug that in.
Good.
I appreciate it. About Five Nights at Freddy's 2, how did you get the idea for, changing the mechanics up a little bit? So the masks and the vents, watching the puppet.
There wasn't a really in-depth planning phase. For like the overall feel of the games, like a lot of these were, I just kind of knew what they were supposed to be, or just kind of felt the way that the series should progress. Like I knew that part 2 should be chaotic. Part 2 should be, a lot more chaotic than the first one. It should be just crazy. It should be overwhelming panic. And then I also knew, even at that time, before, as I was working on part 2, I knew that 3 should be a very personal experience. It should be the opposite of what 2 was. Part 3 should be kind of one-on-one, and I knew that part 4 should be kind of unique as far as setting and things like that. And I knew that part 5 should be kind of high tech, and I even kind of already had color schemes picked out. Like I knew that part 5 should kind of be purples and blues. I knew that 3 should be kind of green, and I knew that 2 should be kind of 2 should feel kind of industrial, which I think that it does. But outside of that, I'm not really sure. And maybe there was more to it at the time, but it all happened so fast,
Yeah. Did you have any scrapped content or anything for the game? Because some people mentioned the toxicity. Is that toxicity meter?
Right. The toxic meter. I think, if I remember correctly, I think that the toxic meter was an early idea on just something so that players couldn't put the mask on and leave it on forever.
Yes, leave it on forever.
I had the idea that if you put the mask on, this meter starts running out. But I don't know. That didn't really seem to fit. I don't know. It just didn't seem to. It just didn't make quite as much sense. And so then the way that I solved it was, obviously having the need to go and wind the music box every once in a while, and the fact that Foxy was immune to the mask. So I came up with other ways that felt a little more natural than just putting on the mask and seeing a meter deplete. It's like, oh, okay, I can only wear this for 5 seconds. It seemed a little too artificial.
And it works perfectly anyway, so I don't think it was needed anyway because of what you just said. The things that you've added, you're not going to always keep the mask on forever anyway. So, was there a reason why you decided to remove Toy Chica's beak after she left the stage to make her more creepy, right?
Once again, I'm not entirely sure what my mindset was on that. I think it was just kind of a way to distinguish her stage presence Chica from now I'm a monster coming to get you. If she's entered attack mode or something. Once again, actually, I think maybe part of it is because, a classic Chica, even on stage, was still kind of creepy looking, but the toy versions, just in their standing state on stage, weren't quite as creepy. I mean, I think Toy Bonnie still retains some of that, but Toy Chica isn't really scary looking. Toy Chica by herself isn't very scary, I didn't think. And so removing the beak was just one thing to just kind of push it into, making her look a little more uncomfortable.
How did you come up with the mini games? Because this was the first game to ever have mini games. Was this to, show the lore not on paper, if that makes sense? So, instead of just giving this and this and this, oh, blah, 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 the killer killed 5 kids, yada, yada, yada. But instead you didn't show it on paper, you put into a mini game.
Right. I think it was because, I don't know, I wanted to keep the gameplay experience similar, but I also wanted to make the game a little bit more fleshed out than the first one. And so that just seemed like a kind of a natural way to do that, where, while not interfering with the gameplay, putting it in kind of an unexpected way that would make it interesting, but while also not making the player feel like they're forced to sit through cutscenes and things like that.
Do you have any good memories of FNaF 2 at all? or bad?
That was a really stressful time for me, I think, because
Yeah.
obviously, you know, my life was changing a lot at that point. You know, there was just a lot of, there was a big frenzy going on with just all aspects of my life, and I was really trying to work on that. But I mean, they're still good memories.
Yeah.
But I just wouldn't want to revisit that. You know, it was really chaotic, and I was really stressed out. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, all good memories, but I wouldn't want to revisit it.
Okay, we'll move on to Five Nights at Freddy's 3.